YouTube? Natsu with Team FTNatsu back for a I guess we'll call this an Angel Feather tutorial. So if you don't know, I play Angel Feather. I love playing Angel Feather. One of my favorite characters in the original series was Rekka, and so I started playing a little before season 2 came out in Japan. And I was like, oh, Rekka's best character. And then Rekka fought, and Rekka used Angel Feather. I was like, oh, I have to use this client. So I've been playing Angel Feather ever since it came out, and a lot of people have been. Actually, it's been kind of half and half. I've seen a lot of people that actually do understand like the new stuff, and a lot of people that don't. They're like, oh, this stuff is not that great. Like, this card Gabrielle. They're like, oh, Gabrielle's too slow, but it's actually, if you know what you're doing, this deck's actually like amazing. Like, oh my gosh, like out of like me and Zero were having a discussion about it yesterday actually, where we were just talking about like the new set that just came out, and I was like, oh, out of like all the clans that I play, because the set gave clans I play a lot of support, and I was like, oh, out of all like the clans that I play after this set, like Angel Feather is probably like the one I'm gonna try and build first. I'm gonna like complete that deck first. So anyway, this is just, I'm gonna go over my build, go over like why I selected, and just like story thing, and then like talk about like different things you can do with this new stuff and everything. So recently, this is a preference thing for me, but recently I've been opting out to just playing draw triggers in a lot of my decks. That's just a personal preference. If you want, you can still play Fever Therapy Nurse. It's still not bad. It's not bad, but I just opt for the 8 crit of 4 stand. If you have to play the stand. Like, the stand is amazing. So if you don't know what the stand does, it's a Gem Break 1, Counter Boss 1, and you put it on top of your deck, and then you choose up to 2 cards. It doesn't be face up, it can be face down. Face down cards preferably, but you know, and put them on top of your deck, shuffle your deck, and then you pick for each card that you put back from your damage zone, you put the top card of your deck into your damage zone face up, and then after you're done doing that, you draw a card. So it's not a, you know, it's a perfect one, even, you know, you get the card back. So basically it puts 2 cards in your damage zone, it unflips, so it's really, really good, because Angel Feather actually counterblast now, unbelievably. But even then, it's not that big a deal. I mean, you can just swap out your face down damages. Although they are, a lot of them now only do stuff for face ups, but even then, it's not that big a deal. Like, this card unflips all the damage that you need. You put back triggers, it gets insane. Although, if you're playing crits, you should be playing, ideally, you really should be running, Critical Hit Angel, just because, the Soul Charge effect, which, actually, there's a new card. One of the new cards actually uses Soul, but I'll get to that when I get to the grade 3s. Heals and crits, whatever. You can. I have to say for style, but Sunny Smiling is also still good. You know, putting it back. 6 boost, still pretty good. Then the new starter is Gem Break 1. You counterboss 1, put it in your Soul, and then you put the top card of your deck in your damage zone, and then you choose a face-up card in your damage zone, and put it in your hand. So it's slightly better than what's his face, Tyrael, because it's a even. You break even, unlike Tyrael, which is an inherit -1. But if you know what you're doing, you can push every numbers higher everywhere. But so this is definitely a lot better than Tyrael. You should be running Tyrael. This should be your starter for every build, except if you're running this thing. But I mean, who the heck runs this deck anymore? Grade 1s, you definitely should run no CL if you're running. By the preface, I'm just talking about Gabrielle builds in general. I mean, you could try Metatron builds too, but those are interesting as well. But you definitely running no CLs. This card is amazing. So you can damage swap on your opponent's turn, and swap means you can Gabrielle, and like if your opponent attacks for 17, you can just drop this, use the effect, and bam, you're 18 now. It's too good. It's too good. Damage swapping your opponent's turn is really, really, really good now, because also because this card exists, this is without question one of the best cards. You should be running 4 of this in every Angel Feather build. This is staple, standard. Like, if you don't run this card, you're bad. Like, I'm sorry. Okay. Well, I mean, in Celestials maybe, but even then, like, this card is just too good. But I'll get to it. I run 4 Stride Enabler just because, striding. 1000 Pegasus is still, has always been, and probably always will be one of the best grade 1s in Angel Feather. I mean, it gets plus 2k every time something goes to your damage zone, so it easily, you can have the numbers stack up incredibly high. And then I just run 4 Perfect Guard, because, 4 Perfect Guards. This card's also decently viable, too. It's, when it's in your damage zone, it's a gem break 1. When something else is put into your once, like, you call something from your, damage zone, you can counterblast 1, and then, put the top card of your deck into your damage zone, face up, and then call it. So basically, it combos really nicely with this card, and with, Medical Bomber Nurse, and with, Black Slice Heart. So it's just a nice combo card. It's an extra +1 to your +1 as is. So, it's just a nice card to have. It's decently viable if you don't have everything right away. I think that's it for all the, this is also a decently viable card, I guess. Nurse Domination, when it boosts, it's, extra 1000 for every face of card in your damage zone. It's a nice card. It's a decent card to hold you over if you don't have everything. Also, I was testing with Doctoroid Metatros, Micros, whatever. Damage Pluser. He's actually pretty valuable too. He's this is probably the only kind where damage plusing is even viable anymore, just because damage plusing, when it first came out, was a gimmick that people used to get the number break early. But now we have these cards. Like, you don't need that anymore. But this card basically can have Gabrielle and what's this card's name? Broken Heart just go off. So it's still still a very viable option. Barak's I would not recommend running Barak. Just because, not that Barak's bad, it's just there's better things you can run. All these cards are just better options to run than Barak. Also, one thing I want to say, even the Doctor's Micros is a 6k Vanguard, or 6k power, whatever. Honestly, you're going to be powering up your front row where it doesn't even matter. For grade 2s, you should be running... actually, let me go with this card. You should be running 4 of this card. This card's amazing. Nurse of Broken Heart. Every time something goes to your damage zone, it and your Vanguard get plus 2k power. And that's during both players' turns, so that gets really... It really gets out of hand. People run Silver Milling Ray. I don't. Milling Ray, I feel, is one of those cards where it's kind of been replaced by Broken Heart. I mean, you can still run Milling Ray, but at most I'd run 2, just because Broken Heart is better. Like, Milling Ray, it's only better than it only does what Broken Heart does, like in the first couple turns, and by that point, I mean, you might as well just be. It's not that great, honestly. Like, you can run Y1 Milling, you can run Broken Heart, and there's better things you can run, since you already have Gabrielle to power up most of your cards anyway. So then just Harit, who is Angel Feather's grade 2 on boost, counterblast 1, do your clan thing, and it basically just it filters out your damage zone. It also lets you get extra attack. It also lets you get extra attacks in, which is nice. Since which is always nice to get extra attacks in. It lets you go +2 if you have an empty field. So that helps mitigate the fact that I don't want to draw triggers to gain extra cards in my hands for advantage. Since usually I can just get the extra advantage from Heart anyway. You could also run a Milling Ray, but like I said, I don't. You can run 2 if you want, but that's just up to you personally. I run Medical Bomber Nurse, who once again I mainly use just to sort of cancel the fact that I don't run draws. But No CL is still also a very viable option too, just because it lets you damage swap, which means you can do more shenanigans. Honestly, don't run Dreamlight Unicorn. Dreamlight Unicorn is not that great. It's a on call, you counterblast 1, and then you heal a face up damage. But then when it leaves the field, you look at the top 2 and put 1 in your damage zone. It's not that great. We have another card that heals for us, so it's kind of eh. Then for grade 3s, Gabrielle's amazing. Now a lot of people are like, oh, Gabrielle's too slow, you have to wait for Gem Break 2. Except there is a card, if I can get Cardfight Area to... Except people seem to forget this card exists. Like this card, and it's a rare in G-Set too. I think it's I think it, I got mine for like $2, but so it's on the higher end of being expensive for rare. Uh, no one noticed that. But it's still. I mean, you can just flip up a card in your G zone, then you have Gem Break 2 automatically. So I feel like the fact that it's Gem Break 2, that just means you have to run Blizza, and it's not that bad. I mean, it slows it to some people it makes it seem it's slow, make it seem slow, but even then, um, you can and then for other grade 3s you can run Phoenix Calamity Flame, which is basically Thousand Ray Pegasus and Million Ray Pegasus in grade 3 form, and then or you can run the Hospital card, which is on hit, counterblast 1, check top 3, put 1 in damage, call 1. I personally run Crimson Lore Metatron, the new Metatron, simply because with its effects you can damage swap twice just from itself, which means you can have this card go off twice, which means you can make it a 15k attacker, or if you have 2 on the field, you can make it 19k attacker, which can get pretty insane. Not to mention just powering up from other damage from other cards too. I personally feel like this is probably the best alternate grade 3 you can run, just because if you can have Broken Heart in the field, you can still sort of have a Gabriel like sort of setup, and you can damage swap a lot more, so you can still get more effects off. And then for strides, honestly, people run Uriel, but Uriel's not that great in my opinion. I feel it's not a terrible card, but honestly, I feel like there are better ways you can things you can do and better ways you can play it. Since most of the time, before I was running one of obviously for Raphael because it heals, that's 2 amazing. 1 Blizza, 1 Raziel, and then 2 Uriel. And what I would honestly do is I would just flip Uriel as the card I would flip, just because it felt the most useless to me, I guess. It's an on-hit, but even then, since you're going to be going for Blizza first all the time without question, so you can instantly have that Drum Break 2, you're not, and then you're going to go for Raphael usually to heal, so that way then you can take more damage. By the time that you actually would be able to go for Uriel, your opponent's just, you're going to be at the point where if you hit, you already won. Like, that, the hit will be the 6 damage with your Vanguard, so, like, why even... And so that's why I prefer running 2 Raziels, since you're already going to have 2 soul just from being at grade 3. You already, for sure, have 2 soul, and you can always just soul charge a critical trigger beforehand in order to get the second soul if you really need to do it twice. And if you have Broken Heart and Thousand Ray, you'll instantly gain an insane amount of power, and you'll probably take out a good portion of your opponent's guard, or at the worst case scenario, 3 perfect cards, which is still pretty nice. But yeah, that's pretty much like what you should be doing with the new Angel Feathers, or like how you should be playing them, and like how they work together. So yeah, sorry I really haven't uploaded any videos, or I didn't do an upload last week. My Wi-Fi's been down, and I'm actually uploading this over my phone's internet connection because I have unlimited data and 5 gigabytes of shareable data, so why not? But yeah, this has been Natsu of Team Fairy Tail, signing out.